Welcome back to Let's Be Real. Today's topic is how to maintain your walk with Christ, relationship edition. Relationships can be beautiful, but they can also reveal a lot about our hearts. Today we're talking about maintaining your walk with Christ while navigating love, emotions, relationships, and eventually marriage. Let's be real. Today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Auntie Brittany. She is a wonderful person. She's super funny, and her husband was on the podcast episode before this. So if you have not seen that, please go and check it out. So please give Auntie Brittany a warm welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So before we begin, we'd just like you to give us a brief description of who you are, how did you come to Christ, and how has it been?
Who am I? How did I come to Christ? And how has it been? All right, people. Hello, all. My name is Brittany Campbell, wife of Joel Campbell. I. What was the name again?
Who you are, who you are, how'd you come to Christ, and how has it been?
All right, how did I come to Christ? First of all, I was attending, the current church that I attend is Wafif. I was attending a church before. You grow up the traditional family, you go to church, so that was the reason why I went to church then. And then my mother transitioned here at Wafif, and I just came, because my mother was going, no real relationship with God. But then something special caught me with this church. First, when I came here, of course, I was asleep. I thought they were noisy and all of that, but I just come. And then what grabbed me was how the children, the youths were very active and passionate about the dance ministry. I wanted to join the dance ministry at the time. You would have, I think, a service on Tuesday and the next one on Thursday, and while service is going on in the sanctuary, I would go around the back where they were and just peek at them. And then I was like, no man, this is cool. So I started to be more interested in church, right? And then over time, I realized that I'm not coming and I'm not sleeping as I used to. I don't use church time for do my homework anymore. I started to be more serious and intentional about church and about God. And then I think it was grade 8, the latter part of grade 8 or grade 9, I decided that I want to do this. And then one Sunday, I kind of pre-planned it. I had it in my mind the week before or 2 weeks before, and I say, so I'm gonna get baptized. Didn't say anything to my mother. So the Sunday came, and my mother was so surprised when someone told her that your daughter are going to a pool or your daughter will get baptized. It was a shocker for her because I did not say anything to her. It was just some thoughts that I was just thinking about. And so that's how I came. How has the journey been? The journey has not been easy, to be honest. There would have been things that, trials, things that really test you. Sometimes even driving on the road, the drivers, they're bad driving, you just want to cuss. So it's I have to remain grounded. So it's not easy, right? But I can tell you though that it's very rewarding, being obedient to God and walking the walk with Him, walking in alignment with Him has just been rewarding. I've seen how He would have showed up for me in ways that I didn't even expect. There are times when I feel like I can do it on my own, and then when you look, God just said, no girl, you can't do this on your own. So it has been very good.
Okay, awesome. So before we begin, we're going to play a little game.
All right. Right.
So I'm going to read, you have a bunch of memes right here. I'm going to read a couple Bible scriptures, and you're going to pick the meme that you would use to best represent your reaction to the Bible scripture. Okay. So the first Bible scripture is Proverbs 26 verse 11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Matthew 7, verse 3. Why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye? Okay. Proverbs 12, verse 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid.
Alright. This is basically my reaction for almost everything.
Proverbs 19, verse 13. A foolish son is a foolish son is the calamity of his own father. Proverbs 18, verse 2. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. And Psalms 141, verse 3. Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. And the last one, Proverbs 29, verse 11. A fool uttereth all his mind.
You see that one day, you know? See that one day. Okay. That one you can't work.
Okay, awesome. So, let me help you. Ooh. So today we're going to be talking about how to maintain your walk with Christ, the female edition of the relationship edition. And before we begin, we know now, because not everybody knows, but your husband, Uncle Joel, was on the episode before this one, and he gave his side of the story on how you met. But we want to hear your side of the story on, well, not how you met yet, but before you met your husband, what did you think love and relationships would look like?
Before I met my husband, I was dating before. Before we start talk, I had a boyfriend before, so he wasn't the first, right? What was my view? I never really have no view per se, you know. I never really have. It's like, you know, naturally, you're a girl, you have your boyfriend, you're a boy, you have your girlfriend. We never really, like, think deep into it.
Okay. Were you actively praying for a relationship or focused on becoming who God called you to be?
To be honest, yes and no. Can't say yes or no to that, you know. It's either yes or no. But let me explain. So I would have gotten prophecies that you're going to marry early and you're going to get married early. Stop distracting me now. Yeah, true. I would have gotten prophecies that I will be getting married early and my husband is coming and all of that. No, as I said before, coming to Wafif, I was just going to church for going to church's sake, and so the things that I understood at Wafif, I didn't understood it back. So right, like getting the prophecies, I would grab on to them, you know, because marriage is not a bad thing for me at least. So yeah, what a question again.
Were you actively praying for a relationship?
Actively praying, right. So I wasn't actively praying because I was coming out of a relationship. That was bad. And I said to myself that, you know, no more for now. I'm going to work on me. That I'm going to work on me was a lie. It was kind of like an excuse to not go back in a relationship, right? So I wasn't actively praying, but I was expectant because of the prophecies.
Okay. How would you describe your walk with Christ during your single season?
Sorry?
How would you have described your walk with Christ during the time where you were not with anybody?
All right, so my walk with Christ, it it wasn't a consistent one. It was like a up and down kind of thing. So like this moment I'm high and but upon a fire up. And then there comes a next season where I'm going back down and then I'm up again and then so it was like a flat and then up and then continue. It was like a, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. What lessons did God teach you before you started a relationship with Uncle Joel?
What lessons did God teach me before the relationship? Why am I not remember? I don't remember. You can narrow it down a bit? Probably that will help me remember.
Like, did he teach you patience or how to like keep your walk with him, how to, build that relationship with him before you build that relationship with somebody else?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that way you see.
Okay. So now that we figured out, or we spoke about how it was before you met Uncle Joel, can you now tell us your side of the story on how did you and Uncle Joel meet?
Once upon a time, a few years ago, how we go again for true? Oh, we met yesterday, right? We met at church. I think if I'm remembering correctly, he noticed me before I noticed him. So Wafif has this school called Wafif Academy of Excellence, and I was going to it. And yeah, that's how he noticed me. But I noticed him more when we had camp, summer camp. So youth camp. So I had this friend who was friends with him, and so mutual friend because she and I were friends, and him and her were friends. So the other persons that were there, we never really familiar with them. So because of that small friend group, we just come together. So we basically talked more then, and then because of camp, you have a friend group, so you maintain that connection afterwards. So yeah, that's how the friendship started.
Okay, what was your first impression of Uncle Joel?
First impression? First impression again. But I just think him look good physically. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, at that time, I never did a preem because I had a boyfriend. But him did look good. That's all I can say.
Okay. At what point did you realize that the relationship between you and Uncle Joel could be something serious?
When him joined media. Yeah, so if you know me, someone always a recruit for the media team, right? So I would have been encouraging him amongst other persons to, join media, man. Who want people? You can do it, man. And encourage him. You don't have to know how to do it. So yeah, after he joined and I started to interact with him more. Prior to that, we would have been taking bus to university together. He attended UTech, I attended US. So, early morning class, take the 24X and go to school, right? But it was not until I encouraged him to join media and he joined and, serving with him, interacting with him, not just serving, but, like going home together. Not going home together, no. Leaving the church and walking together. We spend more time together basically. I don't want to get the wrong idea. But you get what me I say.
Right. Did anyone around you or like that saw you guys recognize the connection before both of you did?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of persons. My maid of honor did. My HOD did. Um, I think those are the two main persons who did, and they would have encouraged me because I was conflicted in decision at the time because I'm like, I like him, but no, you know. But then they were encouraging me. I'm gonna say a good human because I was looking way beyond the physical appearance. Like, yeah, I wasn't really sure. But then because of them like constantly sowing seed, that I think would have helped to influence my decision.
Okay. And what made this relationship different from the others?
Whole heap of things. Whole heap of things like he's very caring. Him just different. I don't know. Like me never asked God for all of this, and him just blow my mind. Right? He's caring. He's a gentleman. He's very supportive. I mean, I would have talked to other guys. Them tell us say I love you and you probably get a one or two gift, but nothing too regular. But him, yeah man, sometimes I have to tell him no, like no gift, it's okay, thank you, see it, because I'm a budget girly, so I appreciate the gifts, but like yeah, so that he him can cook. Like every conversation that I have talking about my husband, I have to insert that. So there is that, and he's a man of God. He didn't none at all put on a show and then like just stop. Starting talking to him as a friend, I realized how connected he was spiritually, and throughout the relationship, he would have maintained that, and that was a big plus for me. Green flag.
Okay. So we spoke about before and then the beginning of the relationship. So now we're going to talk about how you maintained your walk with Christ while walking through that courtship era before the marriage era, right? So the first question is, did your relationship ever challenge your consistency with God?
Challenge, yes, but in a good way. As I said before, my relationship with God would have been very up and down, up and down. And I can tell you that He would have done a great job in keeping me grounded. He mentioned this before. We did this 7-minute prayer thing nightly, where every night we meet and we pray online. And I think that would have really helped to strengthen the foundation. And sometimes I really don't feel like do this spiritual something like pray. May I tell you the truth? Sometimes I don't feel like for it, but then he would push. And whether it is that he encouraged me to do it or he himself do it, and because him do it, may I try if keep up. So that would have helped me to maintain the consistency. So going from two and staying up, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I come back down because we're human and there are things in the world to distract us, but then at the end of the day, you find back yourself and you go back up.
Yeah. Did you and your current husband, or should I say, did you and Uncle Joel at the time encourage each other spiritually?
Yeah, we did. There are times when I feel demotivated and he would push me, and times when he feel demotivated and I would of course push him.
Okay. Did the courtship reveal insecurities or areas of growth that you needed in your life?
I wouldn't really call it insecurity, but I would more focus on the growth aspect. In terms of my spiritual walk, I can't emphasize that enough. He would have really helped me with that in maintaining consistency and trying to maintain that relationship with God. What question again?
Did the courtship reveal insecurities or areas of growth in your personal life?
Yeah, so there is that's that. There's something else, but it's not coming to me right now.
Okay. What did God teach you about love through that season?
During
That season of courtship.
That okay. It what did God teach me? Let me think about it carefully.
Teach you about love.
Teach me about love.
Right, right.
Yeah, one of the biggest learning lessons for me is that love is selfless. It's not self-centered. It's not just about you, but it's also about the other person, and giving from a place of not not like feeling forced to give, but because you genuinely want to give because of the love that you receive from that person.
Okay. So at some point you're gonna have to, I believe, discern about where you need to go or what you need to do in a relationship. I don't know, I'm just asking, right? So why do you think that discernment is important in relationships?
During the process of the relationship or before getting in a relationship?
Do and you
During.
can use before as well, because some people they're floating in the air.
All right, so I can definitely speak to the before for the relationship. I'd have to think more on the during the relationship, but for the before the relationship, you don't want to get in a relationship with any and anybody. You want to ensure that him not just cross off, the physical attraction, the have money, the good career, and all of that. You want to ensure that. Can't find the word. What the word there? You know the word, no?
No.
You know the word. You want to make sure say the person grounded man that me I try to say. Yeah. So
Good person.
discernment, good personality. Yeah. So the discernment you want to make sure say like at face value you can look at someone and them look like, yeah man, this is the real deal. You look at him always in a tongues, always on a drop and actively serving and everything, but then like when you connect with that person you realize say no, this not gonna work. So I can give you an example. I was talking to, well, it was a getting to know before we started to date. I was talking to this guy, and because of my previous relationship, I didn't want to get into something and waste time again because it was a lot of time I did waste with him. So I said to myself and I said to God that if this now go work out, then I don't want it. And I remember a particular night, I prayed. I said, God, if this now go work, just make something happen. That's always my prayer. I don't know. I always want him to do something weird, right? So, lo and behold, in the morning, I got a message from the guy listing all the reasons why the relationship not gonna work.
Oh,
Yeah, the morning after I prayed the prayer the night. So yeah, you have to discern, right? No matter you, oh God soon come on and get married, you go jump in at any relationship.
okay. What role did boundaries play in protecting your relationship?
Boundaries, I would say, played a great role because we are human, we're flesh alive, right? So if you don't set the boundaries, then you are more likely to fall into temptation. And so boundaries, I think, are important, and we would have set up a lot of boundaries. For instance, if I go to his house, his parents have to be there. We tried our best not to spend too much alone time together, right? Because him like me and me like him. Anything can happen. You get what I say? So we really try to, get close in the sense that we want to know each other more, but not too close to cause the enemy to laugh.
Okay. What signs show that a relationship is helping your walk with Christ?
Signs. One, you both spend time together with God, both individually and personally. Two, you have to tell me question again.
What signs show that a relationship is helping your walk with God?
What signs? What other sign? Yeah, you're not idolizing the relationship. So that relationship is not pulling you too much or pulling you not at all from God. For instance, if let's say you tell your partner, say, I want to go Bible study tonight, and the partner shouldn't be the one to discourage you and say, no, nobody go tonight, remember say we did want God party or something like that, birthday party, we're not going to have a party, yeah. So he should, like probably say, we want God Bible study too, but we did want God party. I'm kind of disappointed, but I could go to Bible study, because we can go on next party one next time or something like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is the other person should not let you feel guilty for wanting to do spiritual things.
Okay. How do you know when how do women know when they're becoming emotionally dependent?
You have to go break down that question.
Emotional dependent where I I didn't personally know this person. Bear in mind we're in high school. Don't ask me what high schools are doing in relationships like this. But if the person's on a call with the person and the person falls asleep, or the female falls asleep and the person hangs up, it's an issue. Like they argue, and then it's a case where if she's not getting the attention that she feels like she's supposed to be getting, it's a case where she's now in a state of depression because she's like, but cheap on me. You have another girl. Who's another girl? Where did another girl come from? So emotional dependency like that, where if something doesn't go in accordance to how they want it to go, regarding how they want the relationship to happen, then they feel weird. It's like something is off with their emotions. So how do you know when you're becoming emotionally dependent?
You kind of answer a question yourself.
Oh.
Thanks. Thank you.
Moving on. uh, so we talk about before. During the relationship, the walk with Christ during the relationship, discernment, motions, sponges. Now we're going to talk about when you guys got married. How has marriage changed you spiritually?
But I feel like I answered this already. No, I never answered it, never answered it already.
You're just in the spirit.
How has marriage changed me? More that's not the same way how it influenced the dating stage. Like we spending more time in God together.
Okay.
Yeah, rather than me doing it on my own, I have someone to keep me accountable.
Okay. How has your relationship with God changed since becoming a wife?
How has my relationship with God changed since becoming a wife? How it changed? Holy Spirit, remind me. Husband, how it changed? I don't know how to answer that. May I think? But me did get filled before we get married.
But that was before marriage.
Gender people, this is the random camera person behind the scenes. Lady Brittany, I think a good way to respond to this would be to tell us or tell the audience some of the fruits that have come forth, spiritual fruits,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of you being married, since you've been married.
Thank you, cameraman.
You are in a circle.
And you know, me gonna ask you why fruit them again? No shame in my game. You know, sometimes we need a reminder. Thank you.
Alright. How is your patience level?
But that me did I think, you know.
Has there been an increase in joy? Stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
What
Right.
characteristics about you have improved since you've become a wife? But spiritual characteristics.
Okay.
Or whichever way that it's easier for you to answer.
Alright, so I can tell you I have become a lot more submissive. I'm a seeing face. Okay, I'm not react so true. I have become a lot more submissive, you know, growing up in a household, come on. Growing up in a household where there was no male figure, it's just single parent family, right? So mother on the house, so you know, like for somebody try like a male figure try to lead me, it was difficult starting out in the relationship. It was kind of difficult because it feel too strict, like even if he's not trying to be strict, even if he's not trying to be hard and anything, the fact that a male is talking to me and a male is telling me what to do, a male is telling me what to do. It was kind of difficult, but over time, you know, as I yield to God and as I followed my husband, being submissive became or a lot sounds strong. I'm gonna take out the a lot. Being submissive became easier, right? Because I'm still learning. I'm still learning, to be honest. And in addition to being submissive, I would say my patience level, there's a lot of work that needs to be done still, but it has definitely improved.
Okay. Um, what's one lesson marriage taught you about love?
All right. So growing up, I would like the perspective I have of marriage and love relationship is that it's burdensome. Um, you have to can wash, cook, clean. If you can't do that, then you're basically useless, you know. But then like being married now, and not just being married, but being married to my husband, because may I tell you, he's very special, right? Being married to him, I realized that marriage and love is much more than the wash, cook, and clean. It's way deeper than that. It's where we look at the friendship, the understanding each other, the being selfless, the sharing, the caring, the not talking down to, not being disrespectful. All of that, I learned that during marriage and during the process of getting married because of premarital counseling.
Okay. So, how do you maintain your walk while balancing marriage, responsibilities, work, and life?
It rough. It rough. Like I'm a person who schedules a lot. If it's not on my schedule, it won't get done. And so like trying to fit without making it feel squeezed in, work, marriage, and ministry is it's kind of hard because like I don't want like do it because I have to do it. I want to do it with passion, with energy. And so sometimes there will be days when I don't feel like doing it, but I really just push through because I know that I have to do it, and you just have to make the sacrifice. So I really try to manage that by being intentional about scheduling. So I schedule time with God. I try to schedule time with family time, and I try to schedule time for church just so that nothing suffers, but everything is not go perfectly balanced, but it's close to balance.
Okay. And then, how do you keep Christ at the center of everything?
Well, I really try my best not to idolize the marriage because a lot of persons, they're obsessed with the idea of getting married and being married. And when that time comes, they forget about God and they misplace God. So in doing so, as I said, I try to prioritize and I try to schedule, right? So in my scheduling, I try to prioritize. So like literally, on my schedule, if I'm to show you my schedule right now, you will see God, meditation and gratitude journaling. And then after that comes everything that I need to do for the rest of the day. So that way, like if I don't have God on the schedule, remember I tell you, if it's not in my schedule, it's not going to get done, literally. So any day come that I forget to put God on the schedule because sometimes you're bombarded with thoughts, remember if you do this, remember if you do that, remember say I need for call. So like there are times when all of those thoughts come to me and then bomb rush my brain, somebody start right. So it'll be a case where I'm planning today for tomorrow. And because I'm doing it now, at let's say in the morning, like I have the entire day ahead, right? So because of that, I will like overcrowd that schedule with everything and sometimes forget to put God there. So I have to be intentional and make sure I say, anytime I go head up a new page for the next day for the things I need to do, I write God first and then everything else comes after.
Okay. So now it brings us into a segment that we all love and we all should be familiar with if you're not new here. Expose and explain. However, if you're new here, I will be reading the instructions for you. So I'm going to be saying a statement and you're going to expose yourself whether it's you or it's not you. And then you're going to explain your reasoning behind it. So the first statement is you prayed for clarity while secretly hoping God would agree with your feelings.
Yeah. Am I supposed to explain?
Yeah.
You want the will of God, but you also want your way, right? And majority of the time, you hope say your way, what you want, in the will of God. So it's like, I'll be praying for stuff sometimes, I mean, I say, God, say I really want this, and then I change the prayer, and we say, but if it's in your will, and then we come back and say, I really want this, So it's like, I want it, but I don't want it unless it's in God's will, and then I'm hoping that it's in God's will.
Okay. There was a version of love you had to unlearn.
Love this one? Yeah. As I said, what I told you about what I learned about love growing up, it being burdensome in relationship, I had to unlearn that because going into my marriage with that mindset, it was difficult because I was on my guard, So if, for instance, I don't feel like just because of what society says, I'm not doing enough of something, then it would have weighed down on me heavily. And then once I'm overthinking something, it's going to come out in my action. It's going to come out on my face, my body language, my attitude, everything. And so my husband will now see that. And it's like me, I give him attitude for something where him not really, or him didn't express say, some feel away say do this or I don't like say don't do that or I don't like say do this. But really and truly, it's all in my mind. It's all in my head just because of what society or what I would have heard growing up. So I had to change that perspective.
Okay. You wanted a relationship before you were ready for one.
After that relationship, I kept telling myself that I'm going to work on me. I don't know when we did plan for done work on me, but it never did done work on me. Because as I said, that was a lie that I kept telling myself. It was like a distraction or like a push on to help me, right? Help me. And so, yeah, you just have to change that.
Okay. Um, you had moments where your emotions were louder than your discernment.
I think about it. Emotions louder than discernment. You see, the thing is, I really try my best not to be overly emotional. I'm an overthinker and I tend to be logical sometimes, so it's kind of hard to let my emotions get in the way when I am discerning something or when I feel like I'm discerning something.
Okay. So to close out this episode, I would want to ask you, what advice would you give a woman who's struggling to trust God's timing?
Girl, trust God's timing because do not look at my husband. You need one next camera over there so you can show him face like a lie me I tell on public TV. But that's just so easy. Him always trouble me to distract me. What the question again? You see what I'm talking about?
What advice would you give a woman who's struggling to trust God's timing?
Oh yeah, as me I say, trust God's timing. Try your best not to run ahead of Him. Yeah, we know so God soon come, and we love the idea of getting married if you are interested in getting married. But try not to let that be the center or the only thing, your main prayer point or your only prayer point when you're seeking God, right? Trust God's timing. If you're in a relationship and whether God tell you yourself or Him use somebody for minister to you and say no, not him or not no. It's not necessarily not him, but it can also be not no. Because what I didn't share is me and my husband, we were friends before, so we were in the, as I said, when we just left camp, we were in the getting to know each other stage, and we take bus go to school together and all of that. So in that time, I liked him. I think he liked me too. So we could have started a relationship from there. Maybe that wasn't God's timing, right? So just trust God's timing. Delay is not denial. Just wait on God.
What's one lesson you hope young women learn earlier than you did?
One lesson I hope young women learn earlier than I did. Let me think about it. I'll be here the song 3,000 years later. Do not insert it. Do not. Eternity later. We could go back to that question.
Okay.
And I think about it somewhere.
What does it mean to be rooted in Christ before being rooted in a relationship?
Alright, so for me, being rooted in Christ before being rooted in a relationship looks like maintaining your walk and your spiritual walk and your purity with God. So you constantly read your Bible, you constantly pray, constantly go to church and all of that. So by doing that, you would have maintained a strong foundation in God. And even when you start the relationship, you still try to maintain that strong foundation, because you might solid in a church now, and then somebody come and sweep you off your feet, and then you're just gone. You forget about God, backslide, and then you come back. So you definitely have to try to, you have a choice. Just do the right thing. Just maintain your walk with God. Maintain the foundation. Is your first love. Don't make one man or one woman just come take you away from God like that.
Okay, can we go back to the question from before?
Yeah, why question again? Jesus.
What's one lesson you hope young women learn earlier than you did?
Right, okay, yeah. One lesson I hope young women learn earlier. One lesson I hope you will learn is that you don't have to have it all figured out now. I said to myself that I am going to work on me. For me, that was a lie. For some persons, it's not necessarily a lie. You genuinely want to finish the work on yourself before you go in a relationship. I must caution you though, if you were in a relationship that was traumatic and you need some emotional healing, by all means, complete that healing. But I'm talking about things when you say work on yourself, like, let's say just for argument's sake, your finances, your education, your all right, we could use education and finances for now. You don't have to have it all together. Build the plane while you fly it, right? So get into the relationship because you can't do it on your own. That person, and it must be someone who can keep you accountable. So that person build you while you build up that person. So that's my advice that I would give.
Okay. And last thing, what do you hope listeners take away from your journey?
I really hope you take away that love is beautiful, marriage is beautiful. It's not perfect. There are times when you won't see eye to eye. There are times when you won't necessarily agree on the same thing. We have different cultural upbringing, different perspective, different backgrounds, different ideologies, different beliefs because of different experiences. But yeah, just understand that if you love someone, you have to be willing to compromise, right? And relationship, marriage, them are gonna tell us say it's work. You wanna get married? You better prepare, and then they may like give you information or give you advice in a negative light, but don't view it from a negative light. Marriage is beautiful, guys.
Okay. So thank you so much, Auntie Brittany, for just being a part of this episode. To our viewers, a relationship should never become the foundation of your identity. Because when Christ is your foundation, you can love deeply without losing yourself completely. Always remember, be honest, be humble, be
Be
real.
real.
Thank you.